The filmmaker has so much power to literally transcend messages, stories, experiences, feelings that shape people's hearts and minds. And I want to use that intentionally and just, inspire the next creator out there to do something with their camera that can be game changing. Today, we're going to be talking all about how to create compelling content and build stories that really draw viewers in. I started really from a storytelling content perspective, just utilizing social media. That led me into directing more. I see myself as a filmmaker, a writer, a creative executive, and just an overall storyteller, telling underrepresented stories, powerful narratives from around the world that I feel like have a human, unscripted essence at its core.
I took a TV film class my senior year of high school and then went and got my first camera that summer going into college. I just enjoyed documenting my day-to-day life, travel experiences that I get to go on. It's less about like the place in and of itself and just like the overall experience and the emotions that I'm feeling, because I feel like that's what people will come away with.
I think that's the storytelling that's always resonated with me. Is just like, I don't see enough stories in this space. And I'm experiencing it in real time. How can I almost be like a visual postcard, like experience this with me?
I don't know if this is selfish or just like my style of content, but I like to make content that I am proud of at the end of the day, not content that I look at and see, oh, this is gonna go viral. But I would love to hear what goes into your creative process.
I feel like there's nothing worse than having to make a story and put it out into the world and you don't feel it, you don't like it, you don't love it. You're not always gonna make the most beautiful, piece of art, but it should make you feel something. What have been some of the films that's kind of like inspired you, as a creator?
I think like Rush Hour. Jackie Chan is a big inspiration of mine. I'm a sucker for film, like 35 millimeter film. Seeing what I see and then capturing it in that moment, I think that's where film and films like Rush Hour that are kind of have that nostalgic look that I draw inspiration from.
Even though like there's so many things you could talk about in terms of like the cultural nuances, sometimes the stereotypes, but at its core it was two people getting to know each other and each other's cultures and their differences of how they see the world. And I think that's what I love about cinema, is that you get to see it from their eyes.
I would love to pick your brain around the creative process with working with a client that already has their key messaging.
If someone comes with a brief, I'm always looking at, okay, how can we add like a personal element? How can I add a touch of like my vision, my perspective? I played soccer growing up, so like a soccer team, it's not always about the person who scores the goal. It's like the pieces, the touches that go in between getting to that goal. And I feel like you do have to consider the client. You do have to consider their perspective. I think it's all about elevating it. Like when a client comes to you, it's because they see something in you that's going to bring a unique perspective to the story, especially with editing. And nowadays we have tools like CapCut, which has really made the editing process like, a lot more feasible, a lot easier on the go. And I know you do a lot of traveling, so you could speak to that.
I was fortunate enough to go to the World Cup back in 2022. I documented it and then went back to the hotel, popped open CapCut, cut the whole timeline together, found my audio in the library, and then recorded my voiceover, and then went to bed and then was able to post it in the morning without even having to pop open my laptop, which was super nice. Documenting something, I need to get it out in a timely manner. It's nice to do that, and then it's already on my phone, and that's where most people are going to consume it. So I can just see it there and see it for what it is.
What are you looking forward to in the new year in terms of like storytelling, what you want to put out into the world?
Not every day am I traveling somewhere new, doing something crazy. There's days when I'm just hanging out. I think that's also something that I want to get better at, is documenting that and becoming someone that someone comes back to just, on the regular. What about you?
The camera has so much power, and the filmmaker has so much power to literally transcend messages, stories, experiences, feelings that shape people's hearts and minds. And I want to use that intentionally and just, inspire the next creator out there to do something with their camera that can be game changing. Tell the stories of what is around us that are beautiful, that are human, that really press things forward. So yeah, 2025 is exciting, but I think more than anything, let's be present in the beauty of right now, because that's what's going to shape the future.
Do you have any tips from where you're at now?
Don't wait to be validated, because that's life. Like, we don't always feel good enough, but make it anyways. I guess, like, what would you say to your younger self?
Start with what you have. Most of what I need now, to tell my stories is here. I film there, edit on CapCut. The tools are easier and more accessible now than ever to my younger self as a content creator. With where I'm at now, it's just have fun and document.
All right. Well, Vinny, it's been so good talking to you, like learning more about your story. Thank you all so much for joining us for CapCut's Filmmaker Explainer Series. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation as much as we did, and we're excited to see you on the next episode.